gotta big up
That's
our girl
awesome.
Yvonne. We gotta big up our girl Yvonne for that amazing music
Yes.
logo, for
I think
keeping us on time.
it captures us. It captures us really. I love
Yeah,
it.
she did an
I love it.
amazing job. I'm gonna start us off, Dee, by saying
Okay.
I want to big up Yvonne. That's the first thing I want to start off with. Yvonne Winfrey. Not sure she's related to the famous Winfrey, but I will say that she's heading in that trajectory, right?
Okay.
Heading in that direction, right?
Speak it. Speak it.
She's got a lot of great things going on, but she took her time to help us put this together, and we are grateful. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. So we're here finally. We got here, top of 2024. We've been talking about this for a year now, at least. We've been friends for many, many, many years, and we've had these conversations, and now we just have a platform to share that.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm Shawna Woodberry. Just recently got married. Got to get used to that, Shawna Woodberry. I am
beautiful ceremony. Beautiful ceremony.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that was recent. I'm actually going to be talking about that a little bit today. And and I'm a real estate agent, a mom, right? I'm a lifelong learner, and so happy to be here with my good friends and confidant Dee. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Shawna. Oh, I mean, we'll hear so much more about you and who you are. And who I am. And I echo what you said, which is really like, I'm just so happy that we have decided to actually just do this, right? And I know we'll talk a little bit about, some of our journey and some of what we've learned in the last year or so, but I'm so happy we just like stopped talking about it and actually just decided to do it with Yvonne's help. So, welcome everybody. We're super excited to be here with you today. I am Dee Murray, and along with so many others of you, I wear many, 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 many hats. And the first thing I would say primarily is I'm a mom. I'm an executive, I'm an entrepreneur, and have so many interests. And as Shawna said, she and I have been friends. We've been friends I was thinking about this. It's got to be it's over 10 years. It's over 10 years.
It definitely is. I'd say it was before I had. But how old your daughter? Your daughter's 8. Yeah, it's
before 8.
Yeah, I want to say at least 10 years. At least 10 years.
At least 10 years. Wow.
I know.
And so it's so funny, Shawna, because I was thinking about this, like in preparing for this, and I was saying a little bit of this to Yvonne too early. I'm like, it's so crazy how different we are in certain ways, right? Like Shawna is super into health and healthy eating. That's not me at all. Like,
yes, we gotta be talking about that. We gotta be talking about that.
Listen, I love me some Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, and it gotta be Haagen-Dazs vanilla, okay?
Oh, but God.
So I'm not into that. I'm not into that. That's not really my thing. But that's Shawna. And then I think style-wise, I'll probably say you're like what, hobo chic? Maybe
I say, yeah, that's my new word. Yes, hobo chic. Yes, because I like to interject my style, like a little bit of hip hop. Sometimes like classics. It's whatever I feel like that day.
It's whatever. Okay. And I feel like I'm a little like, oh, okay. I feel like I'm a little bit of glam versus like city.
You are definitely glam. You are definitely. You are all glam.
I love to put on the weekends. I put on some stretch pants and sneakers though. Like I'm not always like this, but I need to get the best for the people. I need to put on my best for the people today. Yes. But when I do dress up, I feel great. I feel amazing. So I mean, I think
and you look amazing.
Thank you, Shawna.
You're welcome.
But I think this is a part of like who we are and a part of why we're here as well. So I'm looking forward to share a lot more about myself and my story.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it too. And we're just going to get right to it, right? Because you guys are going to get to know us along the way. We didn't want to sit up here and read you our resume because we both do a lot. but how you are going to learn is because we have certain areas that we're passionate about, and we're both on this journey of building legacy, separately and together. right? And as we're learning and as we're talking to people, we figure, why not share this information that we're getting in our own professions, right? We're subject matter experts in our own right, but we also know so many people that we talk to on a regular basis to learn the things that we need to learn to get to where we want to go. I'm excited about this, right? Because you and I were kind of going back and forth on what we should talk about. And then I just feel like a lot of times we're both busy and we don't have a chance to reflect on all that we accomplished in 2023, or how about the lessons learned, right? Because we've had some ups and downs, but we always got to pull those lessons out of it, right? So I have mine. I know you said you're going to bring yours to the table. So why don't you start off, and then and then I could tell you a little bit what I got.
Okay, I can do that. I'm like losing my
I know
my earphone here. My ear is so little. But so I think I like that. And I like that I like that we're focusing on what we learned and not what we accomplished, right?
Yes.
I think that is so important, because so much of what I learned has helped me to accomplish the things that I did in the last year. So let me hit you. So the first one that I have here is, all of mine are about what I recognize where I had the most growth is from an intuitive perspective, right? And so my first lesson learned for 2023 was, my elevation is on the other side of an adjustment I need to make. That's one of the first lessons that I learned. I
like that,
because I feel like, you know, a lot of times we are we're married to the method versus being married to the mission, right? So you can have and I think well, what I've learned is that I need to be married to the mission, and the method may need to change along the way, because there's been so many things that I've had to sort of fine tune or sort of go back to the drawing board with in the last year to get me to a certain point. And if I had just been hell bent, which I have been in previous years, on like doing it a certain way, I would have been stagnant. And so that's my first lesson learned that I want to bring to the table.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I can totally see that, and I concur. You know, those are things that I can implement in my own life, right? Sometimes we do get kind of stuck, right? And like, but I've always done this way. And you do.
Oh my God.
Like, how come it's not working? And you realize you just try a different approach, right? It's really about that. What's at the foundation of what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, I love that. So I'm in that same space as you. I felt like I grew so much on I'll say spiritual level, on and I just mean, and what I mean by that is just getting more in touch with myself, right? And just getting to know more of who I am outside of everyone else, right? Because I can fall into this mode of people pleasing, and that's just naturally my personality. So I have to check in with myself on a regular basis and say, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, so my first lesson learned though, so a lot of what I'm going to share is around that, but stop focusing on the things that I can't control and put more effort and energy around the things that I can. And I'll give you an example. You talk about health and wellness, right? So, and I mentioned I got married in September. And at the top of the year, I was stressing because ever since I had my daughter 7 years ago, so I can no longer call it baby weight. You know what I mean? It's like okay, 7 years later,
7-year bubble.
Exactly. It's like, I was like, well, I have no choice but to look good on my wedding day. Like there's no other option, right? So I had to let go of the excuses, right? And a lot of times especially around weight loss, especially around health, we give up our power way too easily, right? What I mean by that is, this is the one thing we have control over. We have not one of the things we can control what we put in our mouth, in our bodies. We can control the exercise and how we move or how long we sit. And we just give that power away. We say, oh, but I can't, I got too much work to do. Oh, I'm stressed. And the things that I'm learning, and we don't know enough about our bodies, right? So that
Yeah.
self-education, I'm about self-education and self-mastery around my
Yeah.
health right now, because we don't know enough. The science is out there, but it's not being given to us. We got to go out there and find it, right? So that we can make the adjustments, as you said,
They
because
ain't gonna
once,
give it to us.
no, we
Because
got to
it's
get
making
it.
them
We got
money.
to
It's
take it,
making them money
right?
for us not to know. Yeah.
Right. So it's like we are being sold these like fast diets and fast ways of doing things. And if we just
Let me
really
slump in my chair. We talk
but
about fast food.
no judgment.
Because
No,
I've done it all. Okay.
and so I've had, because
Welcome
I'm
back.
busy. I'm the biggest culprit, which is why I'm talking about it. And this is the
Okay.
conversation that I'm having with myself. It's no judgment of anyone else. It's like, Shawna, okay, I was just eating. Let's not talk about what I have for lunch. Okay. So I'm a work in progress. But it's a constant reminder to go back to that. Like, I have control of this. No one's forcing me to do anything I don't want to do when it comes to my body, and how I want to feed it and treat it. So that's one of and that can be applied to many areas of our lives, right? About the things the control aspect, right? We can control our careers and who we have in our circles. And that can that can apply in many areas. So that's one of my biggest lessons learned.
So I feel like with regards to health and wellness, that's definitely one of the things I want to be able to focus on. I don't really do the whole, New Year's resolutions anymore.
I understand, yeah.
Because I really just want to be renewed every single day. I want to use every single day as a new opportunity.
Yeah.
But this year I do want to focus a lot more on my health, because to your point, I do have a young one. I have an 8-year-old, and I want to be here to see her grow. So, and we can talk a lot more about this country and the food supply and things of that nature. And at some point we will do an episode with that, because I think it's a very important information. But that is a point of reference as far as talking about what you can control in terms of what you just put in your mouth. Like, as simple as that.
It's that simple. It's that simple.
As simple as that. Okay, so let me do my number two. Okay. So the second thing that I'm gonna try to break this down as best I can. The second thing that I've learned is that when you have a strong desire within yourself to get somewhere or to obtain something you don't have, simultaneously you are also feeling a strong dissatisfaction for something you do have, right? So let me just try to go into that a little bit. So, I mean,
so break it down for us.
I mean, look, really the perspective I came from with regards to those lessons learned was with regards to my career. But if I think about other areas in my life, it totally applies. And if I'm honest, a part of me, and I think it's just the way, because of the way I'm set up inside, I would automatically think, oh, you're just being ungrateful. You're being ungrateful for what you have. Like, you should appreciate what you have. But no, it's okay to want more. It's okay to desire more. And, I was at a point several times in my career where I would get up and really dread going to work.
Oh, wow.
And have such a strong dread to walk in the doors and be there, etc. I no longer felt any of the I'm just blessed, wake up and have a job today, I just was so past that. And I would go in every day, and everybody was just getting on my nerves, and I recognized you know what, it's a shift. I'm being made to feel uncomfortable right now.
Right.
I'm being made to feel uncomfortable because it's really time for me to elevate and motivate and do something else. And I've started to trust myself in that. So now when I start feeling like that, when I start feeling like I'm not happy in the place and space that I'm in, then that means it's probably no longer serving me. And I need to do something different. And all of these things that I'm talking about today, they kind of work together for my better good, and for me to sort of be mobile in just my station in life and the things that I'm trying to accomplish, the people that I'm trying to be around and attract. But that's the one thing, is that, when you are in a space where you're wanting something else because you've been exposed to it, right? So now you know that it's there, it's achievable and attainable, because if somebody else was able to achieve it, then that means that I can also achieve it. But then you also start to feel like, this ain't
Yeah.
working no more. Like you just get so unhappy and dissatisfied with
Yep.
what it is that you have. And I just, I've learned that that is okay. It's okay. It's just time for a shift in your life. That's all. It's
Absolutely.
time for a shift. So
Yep.
that's what I would say is my second lesson learned.
I think that's a great one. I know that our listeners are going to think we like cheated and shared our notes on this one, because I feel like a lot
You
of this
probably
stuff,
did.
similar
You probably
revelations.
did.
But no, but I will say is that, it just proves why we're doing this podcast together, right? Because like even though we have these differences in personalities, we are truly in line in terms of how we're thinking and feeling right now at this point in our lives, right? And the lessons that we've learned over the years. So
But I
similar
have to
to, yeah,
say,
yes,
I have to say
yeah,
that lesson, I
mm-hmm,
recognized it last year, but the discomfort wasn't last year. I had that before
mm,
last year, but I didn't get the aha moment until last year about sort
right.
of why that sort of happened for me.
Right. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, you said something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to, because I know I've been there. And it's
Yeah.
that lack of trust in our own voice, in ourself, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we're making excuses, like you said. We're raised in a way where we're told to be grateful just to
Be
have a
grateful.
job, not
Yeah.
be happy to be in that job. And I will
Yeah.
even say that the generations that are coming up behind us, that they ain't having
They
it.
different.
They
They
are
just
different.
different.
And and like I have a daughter who's I'm not going to give away my age, but let's just say I have an older daughter who's living her life right now. And
Mm-hmm.
when I hear some of the stuff she says, my first reaction is like, how dare you? But I'm just like,
Fringe. Yeah.
maybe there's something to be learned there. Maybe they got something right, because we
Yeah.
come from a place of stress and constantly having to prove ourselves. So
Yeah.
the generations are meant to teach one another, right? And we gotta
I
tune
believe
into
that.
that.
I
So
believe that. Yeah,
so in
definitely.
line, yeah, so in line with the kind of what you're talking about, the next kind of
Mm-hmm.
lessons learned for me. And I just wrote down in my notes, we are one of one. And that is something that I've said like over the last, in 2023, I found myself saying
Mm-hmm.
that a lot as I'm talking to family members, as I'm just having my own, positive self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, like, for so many years, and this is where you get a little peek into who I am. I questioned whether or not I was good enough, whether or not I belonged in the room, if my voice mattered, if I don't have the same background, I don't have the same college
Mm-hmm.
or family upbringing, or kind of like just I will say things that I just feel like I lacked in a lot of areas. Definitely
Yeah.
imposter syndrome has been a huge thing for me that I am working through. and
Mm.
and and as I've been thinking about this, I said that if you really, as people, we are all, and when I say we are one of one, we all bring something to the table that no one else can
Mm-hmm.
bring. No one has our
Mm-hmm.
perspective, our experience, our background. So now when I walk into a room, knowing that I may not have what this other person has, but I bring something to the table that they don't have.
Nobody
And
else is gonna bring.
I value
Yep.
that. And I think
Yep.
that as soon as each and every person, I'm not special, we all
Mm-hmm.
have
We
this.
all are
And
special.
if
Yeah.
we can tap into and believe that, we are all here for a purpose,
Yeah.
and you can't, we're not in a race. We're in a race with ourselves to get to where we need to be, and we should be
Mm-hmm.
helping to uplift each other. We're not in competition with one another. So, because Lord knows our community needs that support. We need to be loving on one another and lifting up
Mm-hmm.
those who are trying to get ahead as well. So that's been one of
Yes.
my major lessons, that it's like, as I'm working through these things personally, I want to kind of share that, like,
Well, we should.
don't doubt yourself. You know what I mean? You got this. Just believe in what the gifts that you have and focus on that.
Yeah, you said a mouthful because I think,
Mm-hmm.
working in corporate America, in the corporate structure, I think I come across that so much for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the individuals, and I can't even say young people because
Mm-hmm.
it really is individuals, professionals at every level in corporate America. That imposter syndrome, that's a game killer. That is
Mm-hmm.
a, confidence killer. That is so many things, and I feel like just to do exercises and just letting that go. And like you said, trusting yourself, trusting your own power, trusting that your voice matters. I mean, hell, like we are here on this podcast because I trusted that we had something different to say, because people will look at podcasts and say, well, it's so saturated. But I believe, and I'm looking for the people that's looking for us, because I believe that we have a unique perspective to bring to the table. And there will be people that will be looking for us that will have similar perspectives and things of that nature. So I think you said a mouthful, and I like how you said it. You didn't just say imposter syndrome. You said we are one of one. And I didn't really know where you were going to go with that. So I definitely appreciate that perspective that you just shared with us.
Thank you.
My next one is, this is a big one for me. And I gotta be real, because I don't know another way to be. As you know, Shawna.
Yes, I do. That's what I love about you.
Sometimes that gets me in trouble, but that's just who I am.
Yes.
So this one is, sometimes my favor is not for me. Oh my God. And when I wrote that, I was just like, man, because I gotta tell you, like in the last year, particularly, this one took me out, because I've always been the one that's been very given. I'm very focused on helping other people. I know that I'm an HR professional for a reason. Like that is not by happenstance. That is by design, because of the way that I'm built. I just would not find joy if I were not helping people to elevate. And so when you reach new levels, they say with new levels come new devils, right? But I really don't subscribe to that. I really know that at every level that I move to, I'm there for a reason. Yeah. And I'm placed there because it is my job to say, hey, I'm here as a matter of representation, and then also to help others to get to where I've gotten, right? And so like it's been no different in this next level that I moved to within my, with my work life. And like normal, I immediately started to kind of reach out and help people sort of in different spaces and places. And, one of the things that I experienced last year was, that, I helped someone, really just because that's just what I do, to get into a particular program that really opened up a whole new world for this person, right? And then literally right after that, and maybe it was just by chance, I didn't hear from the person again. And when I tell you that, like, hurt me so badly, because I'm just what you just said. Like, I want everybody to win. I want everybody to win. And if there's something that I can do to help. So what was I to you? Was I not important enough to you to, check in on me? Say, even if you didn't hear from me, because sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do that, like, all right, it may not be right, but I do that. Like if I don't hear from someone, if I know I'm usually checking in with that person, right? And then and that person don't check for me, I'm like, maybe I'm not important enough for you to check for me. And relationships to me are like extremely important. And the older I get, I just don't have the time to invest in people that are not invested in me. I don't have the time.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
It's huge. It was huge for me, but it wasn't, honest. I swear to God, it wasn't until like Thanksgiving. It wasn't until like November.
Like, all right, this is enough to the end of the year. I can't take
this happened way early in the year. It wasn't until like Thanksgiving, towards the end of the year, where I got it. Like, you know what? It's okay, and the reason it's okay is because if you didn't do that thing, you wouldn't have been obedient to who you are. And so who knows? You did that thing because that's the thing that you were supposed to do and be for that person. Yes. That does not mean that person was supposed to be the same thing for you. Who said that? Nobody ever said that, Exactly, and so why did I go in there even expecting that? That was not right of me. And so I really had to like correct and check myself and be like, okay, like it's all good. Like, if you were supposed to be for that person that stepped up, so be it. Your
Yeah,
step
but you
up
know
is
what?
somewhere else.
That's a double-edged sword though, and that's where I think there's the lesson, and there lies the lesson, because you do help, and I'm the same way, help people so naturally, like
Yeah,
it's second nature. But
it
what I
is.
guess in a similar way, I've learned, and I'm not perfect, I'm not there yet, but you realize like our time is limited. So if you know that you have given that person your time, and out
Oh
of the,
yeah.
because you want it to, and not expecting anything back, but you know that
Right.
it's not appreciated, then that may not be where you want to put your time. You want to put your time in a
Yeah.
place where it's
And that's the
appreciated. You know
lesson.
what I
I
mean?
won't do it
Yeah.
again, but I'm
Right.
not going to
Right.
regret doing it in the first place. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah,
Like I'm not
absolutely.
going to regret, because I feel like you mess your blessing up then. Because
Mm-hmm.
then why did I really do it? You know, if
Right.
I'm saying that the only reason I did it is because I was expecting something back, then that's not really true
Right.
and genuine, you know? So I
Mm-hmm.
really had to come to that, which was,
Mm.
it's okay. But now I know, and now this is not a relationship that I will continue to invest in further.
Right.
So, and
Right.
also I have to carry that forward, meaning sometimes I'm gonna have favor and be able to shed that favor on other people. Or
Mm-hmm.
my favor, the fact that I have favor is going to help somebody else. And it's okay. I
Yep.
think it's okay. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
different and better space now. And I've been much happier for it too. Like I'm
That's
just
great.
grateful
Yeah.
for that revelation. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my number 3 for 2023.
Okay. All right. So my number 3, and I actually had a fourth, but I don't know if we have time for that. So I'm gonna
Ain't
focus on
nobody
the
got
one
time
I
for that. You always gotta go. You always
I'm
gotta be the
not gonna I'm not
overachiever.
gonna be extra. Okay. Because I wasn't sure. I was like, well, let me get a feel. Let me see which one I
I'm
really
gonna
want to
do
go
4.
with. No, I had a backup. Let me just say.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Okay.
So I wrote down the power of love. We need
Hmm.
to love on our folks more. And let me and that
Mm-mm.
to me is, there's many levels to that, right? Because I'm not just talking about romantic love. I'm talking about coming from a place of love. For me, that's like my mantra for 2024. Like everything I
Huh.
do is gonna come out of that place.
I feel
And
like you
so
always do that. No?
I do, but I feel like as I get a little bit older and I learn some
Hmm.
things, like I feel like
Hmm.
you slowly but surely get away from that. Like I've been frustrated beyond, more so than I think I've ever been.
Hmm.
And it's just because I'm
Hmm.
realizing things. And as you're realizing things, you're like, wait a minute, this is not what it's supposed to be. And then
Yeah.
you have to kind of back up a little bit and say,
Yeah.
well, who's to say like, no, just kind of sit back, like I said, kind of learn your lessons
Hmm.
and humble yourself, right? Because you're really not in control of this thing. You are to a
No.
certain
To
degree,
a
but
certain
again,
degree.
focus on the things that you can control. So I just got married in September, and this was
If you
someone.
say that one
Okay,
more.
but it's
Everybody, Shauna got married in
connected.
September.
Wait, it's connected.
Everybody, I'm not married. Shauna got married in September to Tori. He's a beautiful
Really,
man, very great
really,
man.
really.
But and let me tell
Why
y'all,
would
I
you
just
let
gotta do the
go?
sidebar.
Wait,
No,
no.
no, I gotta do the sidebar because let me just tell y'all, Shauna, when I say she love this man, when Tori hear this, she love you. She love you, brother. She love you. When she saw this man, well, Shauna, we doing this
You know,
right. And
you
when we
ain't right.
talking
That's
through
all I'm saying. You
something,
ain't right.
I gotta say this, when we talking through something, Shauna be like, this is her thing. What Tori said, and
Why
I'll
are
be
you doing
like,
that to
Shauna,
me, D? Now you're
I
putting him
love
on
it.
spot.
I'm just saying, I love it. It's great because he really is your best friend and you're
He
confident. But I just
is.
had to
He
say that.
is.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I know it's
I'm just
annoying
teasing you.
sometimes.
No,
I
it's
get it.
not.
I was
It's
like, all
beautiful.
right. So
I love
no,
Black love. It's
but
beautiful.
but that's my point. No, and I don't, it's not the marriage thing, because to be honest with you, I never thought in my life I was going to get married. I'm going to be 100.
Oh,
I
wow.
never thought, I never saw myself getting married. And I have a whole different
Mm.
perspective about marriage and
And
relationships
partnership.
and partnership. And to me, it's more about the partnership than it is necessarily
Yeah.
that title of
Yeah.
marriage and husband and wife. We were married before the actual date happened,
Yes.
but what I got out of this relationship, and something I have
Uh-huh.
reflected on because of our most recent event. um
You can say
it,
it. It's all right. I ain't gonna mess with you no
no,
more.
no, no, but is that how love has empowered me more
Mm.
to be the best version of myself to date, right? And I mean that, and it's not because I guess when you do have that type of relationship, you feel like you have the space. And a lot of times when we're in partnership, we compromise a lot of who we are for that
Oh my
person.
God.
We give up a lot of who we are for that person. But what happens when a person doesn't try to tell you who you are and they allow you that space to figure it out for yourself? And that is truly the place that I am right now. And I'm telling you, it's not a comfortable feeling. It's just like, holy shit, I got to make my own decisions.
I gotta
Wait
do
a minute.
this.
You're not going to tell me what to do with my life. I got to figure it out for myself. Like, no, these are the revelations that I've had, kind of like, wow, to have that space. And I try to provide that as well. And it's not always an easy thing, right? Because we have our unconscious bias that creep into all of our relationships, not just our romantic relationships. So that, and then when I say love on each other, there is so much craziness going on in this world right now. It brings me to tears. And you feel helpless and you feel like, what can I do to make it better? And the only thing I can think of, Dee, is to love on one another, because love is going to make this world a better place. And the more I love on one person, they're going to love on the next person, and that person's going to love on the next person.
Because those are the things we can't, some of those things, most of those things we cannot control.
We can't, but we can control how we treat people, how we treat ourselves. The love is for ourselves first, and then that will exude out, and that will permeate to everyone, or you'll have that ripple effect that it goes out to everyone around us. And I just think, especially for our folks who are constantly going through it, it's even more important for us to, and we said it time and time again throughout the podcast, is like we want to uplift one another. And that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this, to find a way to inform people and uplift one another. And again, do it all in love. So I'm gonna stop it there.
And that's so fulfilling. I think that's so fulfilling. And we share this, right? Because that is the thing that fulfills both of us. And so this for us is just not a selfish project. This is a project that is really based it in love, right? But let me just double back a little bit. Also, you just said about, so I was teasing you about the whole marriage thing, because I was there when you guys met again, and so I saw the whole like love affair develop from that to the wedding last year, which was beautiful. But what you said about so many times we lose ourselves, and our partners don't allow us to sort of like take the time and space to be who we are versus who they want us to be, is projected. We're gonna have to talk about that one day. Because I learned that lesson. I learned the lesson about the loving and being more free with my love, and even in when you're in a relationship, how you argue, like how you argue. And I had to learn that slowly, because like I feel like I would when I would argue at first, when I got with my honey, my current honey, like it's like it was like I wasn't like coming from a loving place. And he said that to me like the first year we were together. He was like, when you talk to me, he was like, it needs to be from a place of love.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, and I swear I had been in a relationship that was the opposite of that. Like it was not loving. It was not, it was not patient. It was not kind. And you don't recognize, and I have been separated from that for like 4 years.
Wow.
And to the fact that was still, remnants of that was still on me, was like, whoa. And let me tell you, it still took, I want to say, another 2 years before I was fully like able to shake that completely off. That's crazy. The power that somebody else being in a relationship does that damage and can have on you is so amazing to me, right? And I think about that because I never want to be that for anyone else. I never want to be that person for anyone else. So now I really do, I definitely embrace what you just said, is like, I really do want to always come from a place of love, because if we're not loving on each other, then what are we doing? Why are we all here?
Right. Well, why are we in each other's lives if we're not bringing value, if we're not making them better?
It's been amazing. We're going to see you next time. Thank you for co-labbing.
Yes, thank you.
It's been awesome. Yeah,
That's
I can't
right.
wait. I can't wait for everybody to hear this.